Hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire geek, and welcome to episode 89 of that old Yorkshire geek's Friday night appointment with fear, because it's Friday night, so we've got to watch a scary film. That's the law. I haven't got my hat on today. I've got the bandana on because it's really, really warm. I've got the fan on and everything. This week, as you can guess from that extended intro, we're watching A Nightmare on Elm Street. What's the matter with me? I don't know. A Nightmare on Elm Street. That's what we're watching. The Wes Craven classic from 1984. And Rich Tiger's here. And Regis Mathis was in first. Hello, the first Freddy is the best of the saga. Probably is. Although I do like 3. Everybody seems to like the Dream Warriors, don't they? Right, so info about this film. It was written and directed by Wes Craven, the late great Wes Craven, produced by Bob Shea, with his up and coming at the time New Line. Is it New Line? Yeah, New Line Cinema production company and distributor. They were close to being bankrupt, and so it became known afterwards as the house that Freddy built. They were going to do great things, wouldn't they? Stars John Saxon, Ronnie Blakely, Heather Langenkamp, Amanda Wyss, Nick Corrie, Johnny Depp in an early role, and Robert Englund. Music by Charles Bernstein, who's not related to Elmer Bernstein, as far as I can tell. It had a budget of $1.1 million and it grossed $57 million, so it did pretty well. It was a big thing at the time. I still remember it being in the news back in 1984 about this new horror film that was taking the world by storm, A Nightmare on Elm Street. We all know the story. The Elm Street kids have been haunted by in their dreams by, I don't know, the spirit or whatever of Fred Krueger. It's not called Freddy in this, apart from right at the end in the nursery rhyme thing. You know, Fred is coming for you. Everywhere else in the film is just called Fred Krueger. Fred Krueger was named after a fella that Wes Craven knew. He just thought he had a cool name. But and Josh Temple's here. Sorry about that. Never fear, Maddie's here. Harpoon at the ready. Hopefully, a dream harpoon. But anyway, the inspiration came from when he was a kid. Wes Craven was a kid, and he lived in a second floor apartment with his family. And one night, he looked out of his window, and there was a scary man in a Freddy Krueger hat, and just staring up at his bedroom window, and it terrified him that much that it stuck with him, and he ended up writing a film all about it. But it was also inspired by real life deaths that were happening in California, in the Southeast Asian community, where like teenagers were dying of what became known as, I've forgotten, South Asian sudden death syndrome or something like that, where kids were just dying, just dropping dead. And some of them were saying they were afraid to go to sleep and stuff like that. There were news articles and all that about it that he clipped, did Wes Craven, and that was the inspiration. Right, so there you go. Before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already, or join us in the chat. We're live on YouTube, but just double check. We're live on Rumble, yay, and we're live on Twitch. It's all going swimmingly so far. Right, so we'll just get on with it, shall we? So I'll make myself titty tiny. Hang on, though, before I say that. I'm also on Facebook, X, and Instagram. Links are in the description for those, as are, hang on, the links for my 2 books. Let me move things about. The links for my 2 books. Come here, you bugger. It's here. Hey. Silent Predator, a short horror novella about big cats eating people in a North Yorkshire village. And Mercury Rapids, a light-hearted sci-fi action-adventure about UFOs and stuff like that, and alien invasions and lizard people and greys and all that stuff. They're on Amazon, Kindle and paperback. Oh, excuse me. Give them a whirl. I might have a blue tongue. I've been drinking blue pop. Have I got a blue tongue? No, I ain't. Right, never mind. Right, so let's get on with the film. I made myself titchy tiny, as I just said. Where are we? Is it that one? No, it's that one. And then I've got to get rid of them so we can see the subtitles. Right. Let's get the film up, shall we? As usual, we're not just watching the film because YouTube would throw a hissy fit. So we're going to watch it in a series of stills and talk about it, and I'll try and remember the trivia that I know about it, that everybody else knows, but whatever. Where are we? Right, so let's get on with it, shall we? Here we go. Spladosh, there we go. We're beginning. New line, cinema. Here it comes. There we go. Remember the house that Freddy built, and Windgrace is too scared. It is the scariest of the Elm Street films, I think. Although towards the end, it starts getting a bit iffy. I think it does anyway. But up until then, it's pretty damn spooky in places. Right, so we begin. We're seeing Freddy. Fred Krueger, played by Robert Englund. In the role of his career. I mean, previously, what had we seen him in? He'd been in V, hadn't he? As Willie, the alien Willie, the visitor. But he was a good guy, wasn't he, in that? And after this, I don't know, what were he in? The Mangler? And he directed some stuff as well, hadn't he? Right, anyway, we see him. He's making his glove, his trademark glove. There he is. Fashioning it. There it is. They made several gloves for various films, and the fellow that made them, I can't remember his name. I thought he was in a documentary that I watched. He says that the original one has vanished. He says only he knows exactly what it looks like. So if it ever pops up, like on eBay or whatever, I suppose he'll be able to identify it. The original one's vanished into the ether. I presume he means this one, because it looks pretty, gnarly, doesn't it? Right, we begin. Here's Tina, played by the lovely Amanda Wyss, who I've met a couple of times at conventions, and she's amazing with the fans. I took my son, first saw her at Sheffield Comic Con. I can't remember what year it was. My son must have made an impression, because he always does. Because we saw her again a couple of years later at Collectomania in Birmingham, and she remembered us. And I was amazed, because like I said, they see thousands and thousands of people, don't they? But Aidan wanted to go see her again, so we went to see her again. And she remembered us. She says, "Oh, I remember met you in Sheffield, a couple of years ago." And I'm like, wow. She obviously couldn't remember her names, but she remembered the faces and remembered that she'd met us before, which impressed me no end. Anyway, here she is. She's in the middle of a dream. Here we go. She's running down a corridor, because there's lots of corridors in dreams and stuff, isn't there? She sees a goat, because there's lots of random imagery in dreams. Excuse me. She's in a boiler room. By the way, all the boiler room scenes in this were filmed at, I'll tell you in a minute because I've forgotten. Where is it? Lincoln Heights Jail, which is in Los Angeles. They're all the boiler room, because there's various boiler room scenes in this. They were all filmed at Lincoln Heights Jail. Right. And then we get this first look at Freddy. You don't really get a super duper good look at him in this film. It's always like glimpses, or his face is in shadow. We do sometimes see, him, but it's always lit in a way that there's lots of shadows and stuff. Anyway, there he is. And I can't remember if it was for this film or one of the later films, the fellow that designed the makeup, we're eating pizza. And he was pulling the pizza apart and all the stringy cheese and stuff, and he thought, that's interesting. And he took the pizza home, didn't eat it, took the pizza home and designed Freddy's face with all the stringy cheese pizza to look like that. Right, so anyway. she's running around this boiler room, as we can see. We can hear Freddy, saying Tina and all that stuff, and squeaky sounds of him rubbing his claws on metal things. And then she stops here by a furnace. Hang on. And then he appears. There he is. Appears behind her. And she wakes up. No, she's awake now. And then the mother comes in and says, some dream judging from that. And we look down. Hang on, has it shown us? There we go, look down. Her night is all cut. So that's a clue as to what's going to happen later. Anyway, there's a mum. It was supposed to be a bit of a floozy, apparently. But anyway. So, right. Then we see, we do hear it at the beginning. I forgot we heard it at the beginning. Freddy's coming for you. But they always talk to him. They always say his name's Fred. Fred Krueger. Anyway, then we see this car, which we see again at the end of the film. Kind of reminds me of Christine. But is that deliberate? I don't know. I know it's a different sort of car, I think. Anyway, the kids. I don't think it's... Oh, no, it is. Yeah, it is. It's Glenn, played by Johnny Depp. And Nancy, I think. And somebody else. And Tina's in there as well. There you go. They get out of the car. And they meet up with Rod, who appears in a minute. And they're kind of talking about dreams and stuff like that. And it turns out they're all having dreams about the same person. I can't read your name. Ricky something, sorry. The Font means I can't read it. Nightmare on Elm Street is my favourite horror franchise of all time. Cool. I'm more of a Jason person. But anyway, but I do like these. That's not a very good good pause, is it, on Amanda? Sorry, Tina. Anyway, we learned that they've all been having a dreaming about the same person. But they don't know his name yet. Anyway, at night, they're having a sleep. Nancy's having a sleepover at Tina's house. Her mum's away. I think they've gone to Vegas or something, her and a chap. So Nancy's gone over to have a sleepover with her. And then there's Glenn. And there's a bit of a comedy relief here where he's phoning his mum, because he's going to stay as well. And he's saying he's staying at his cousin's near the airport. And he's got one of those soundtrack cassettes. So he's playing that. And obviously all goes wrong. There's airport sounds. And then it turns into motorbikes and the crash and people screaming. And it's like, hilarity ensues. So anyway, there we go. So anyway, so he's staying there with them. And then he is, and then they're talking about, again, they're dreaming about this guy in a dirty red and green sweater. And then when she says that, he looks. And then when she says that, that's when he looks. And curiously, let's say, Johnny Depp, justice for Johnny, in this film, gets killed by, spoilers, he gets killed by a man with scissor hands, and then later on in his career he will go on to play a man with scissor hands, wouldn't he? Is Edward Scissorhands in the Nightmare on Elm Street universe? I don't know. There we go, they're talking about that his red and green sweater and his hat, and he's got knives for fingers and all that stuff, and making that eat sound, that's what she does. By the way, Heather Langenkamp got offered the part at the audition. I don't know if any of the others did, but Heather Langenkamp said it never happened. I don't think it's ever happened to her since or whatever. She says it's always, you go for an audition and then leave, and then you hear from your agent at a later point saying you've got the role or you haven't got the role. But she says, Wes Craven came up to me and says, you're Nancy, at the auditions. That's how she knew she got the part. Anyway, then they hear this squeaking sound. So they go to check. But it's not. Don't worry, it's Rod. There you go. It's Rod, acting about and making squeaky sounds with a garden implement. Anyway, they're supposed to have broken up, but they haven't. He's gonna get back into her life now. Oh, you can see that Glenn and Rod don't get on. Anyway, so there you go. They're going to do the deed. You know, it's teens having premarital sex. As usual, you know, that's the MO for slasher films, isn't it? But this is a new kind of slasher film, isn't it, I suppose. So they're going to stay. And Glenn's hoping for a bit of hanky-panky himself, but Nancy puts the mockers on that. I think they're supposed to be about 16 or 17 in this. I'm not exactly sure how old they're supposed to be. I think they're supposed to be 16 or 17. Right, so they're trying to sleep. Well, Glenn is, and all they can hear is Tina and Rod at it. There you go. And that's Glenn's line, morality sucks. As they're hammering away at each other. Anyway, so then they're going to go to sleep. Right, so off they go to sleep. This is Nancy, with one of the best effects in the film. She's asleep. We're going to see it here. I think we can just see it starting to happen there. Oh no, that was the cross. The cross fought. She had a crucifix. I think this is Tina's room, isn't it? She's got a crucifix on the wall that just falls off. So, you know, she wakes up and picks it up, and then she knocks on the wall. Oh, she did. I'm sure she does. She did anyway. She knocks on the wall, and to show us that it's solid. And then there's obviously there's a passage of time as they've all fallen asleep now. They're asleep, and Tina wakes up. Have I missed a bit? Hang on, let me go back. Have I missed the best bit? Has it skipped over it? I think it blooming has, hasn't it? Has it? Oh no, it hasn't. It must come in a minute. I thought it was that part. Never mind. Where were we? Tina wakes up, or does she? I don't know. She's asleep. We're in Tina's dream now, I think. She hears a noise and she goes outside. I think she hears somebody calling her. We hear that Tina, and all that stuff. And then something hits the window and little, cracks it. This is the best bit of the film. There he is. Here comes Freddy out of the wall. It's just obviously it's a simple effect. It's just like a rubber sheet in it, and the stuntman just leans over it. But it looks amazing. It's just well lit. It looks amazing, doesn't it? These days they do it all CGI, but it's just a man leaning in on a rubber sheet, well lit. Anyway, he goes back in. I think that this is when she knocks on the. Is this when she knocks on the wall? Yes, that's when she knocks on the wall. I think. There you go. Right, this goes back to sleep. Meanwhile, Tina's going out into the garden. In her dream, later on it gets confusing as to are they asleep or are they dreaming? Or is Freddy projecting into the real world? I don't know. But anyway, she goes by this tree and then, hang on, must be later. Freddy pops out from that tree later. She goes into this alley. I think this was filmed. I think all of this film was filmed in and around Los Angeles. I think there's some scenes with sets and stuff, but where are we? This scene, the alley where Tina is confronted by Freddy, is 612 Millwood Court. There we go. Tina's house is on Millwood Avenue, so I'm guessing it's adjacent to it, so it's all part of the same area, which is cool. Anyway, there we go. There's Freddy. That's perhaps one of the best views we get of him. And there we see his goofy long arms. It's a dream. It's a nightmare after all, isn't it? So I suppose it's supposed to look goofy. So there he is coming down, scratching his claws along the metal walls. She goes, "This is God." And because she says, "Oh, God." And then he starts chasing her. His arms have shrunk back to normal size, thank goodness. So she goes running back into the house. Oh, and this is where he pops out from. Oh, she goes running down there. It's where he pops out from behind the tree. There we go. Cartoon-like, because it's a dream, anything can happen. And he goes, "Hey, Tina." And then he chops off his finger for no reason. Watch this. There we go. Oh, 2 fingers even. Ha ha ha! That bit. Dear. And for some reason, by the way, that's pretty good. I said we don't get a good look at him, but I'm lying, aren't I? For some reason, this scene always reminds me of The Young Ones, the British comedy series, The Young Ones, where Vivian cuts off his finger, thinks it's a prosthetic, but he cuts off the wrong finger. Oh no, wrong finger. Anyway, right. So he's chasing her into the house, and he grabs hold of her, and then there you go flying down there. Only she pulls his face off. Ah! It kind of looks a bit crap, to be honest. But then Rod wakes up and he sees Tina writhing about under the sheets. And then we get a glimpse that Freddy's under there with her, and he does say later that there was somebody under the sheet with her, but he can't see it, obviously. Now this room is set. It's one of those rotating rooms that they can revolve. That's on, that gimbal. Is it a gimbal, what they call it? I don't know. But it can rotate like 360 degrees or whatever. Because she's going to go flying about the room now. There we go. Somebody gets picked up. She gets slashed. There we go. He gets knocked to the floor, and then this is where she goes round the room. Obviously, he's fastened to the wall, and then they're rotating the room so she can end up on the ceiling and all that stuff. We've seen it loads of times in other films. There's a famous Fred Astaire scene in there where he does that. And there's another film that does it as well. Mission to Mars, they do it in Mission to Mars. Oh, they also did it in 2001, A Space Odyssey. They had a rotating set on that, didn't they? There's another film I've seen it in as well, but I can't remember what it is, with a rotating room, and I've forgotten. It'll come to me, maybe. In the middle of the night. But anyway, there she goes. They can hear the scream. She's screaming because obviously she's been cut open and all that. And Nancy wakes up, and Rod's shouting, "I'll kill you!" Just to muddy the waters. But anyway, they come in, and there she's dead. Well, she falls onto the bed, and all blood sprays everywhere. Tina's dead. Rod runs off into the night. Does he think he's chasing Freddy? I don't know. Or has he just got scared and, legged it? I don't know. But anyway, so that's the end of Tina, unfortunately. But we do see her again, don't worry. And the appearances of Tina in this film, I think, are the most terrifying parts of this film. Anyway, there's John Saxon. He plays Nancy's dad, but he's a lieutenant in the police force. So he's saying, "What's she doing there?" And then obviously he says, "She lives there." Says, "No, not her. So what is his daughter doing there?" But we're asleep over. This is excuse me. This is Ronnie Blakely, who plays Nancy's mother. Not the best actress in the world, but she looks nice. I've kind of got a thing for her. Apparently, she's a really good singer. She's like a country singer, I think, or something like that. Can't say I've heard anything by her, but she's fine. She's fine. Right, so she's saying they think Rod's killed Tina because he's got a reputation. He's a bad boy and all that. But she's saying Rod wouldn't do that. That they had arguments, but they were never that serious. Anyway, so they take her home. She's saying, Rod wouldn't do anything like that. This is where we learn that Mother's got a drinking problem, to say the least. There's a bit of news footage showing taking Tina away. Would they show that on the news? They wouldn't here in this country. They wouldn't show somebody's dead body on the news with their arm flopping out, all covered in blood. But would they? I don't know. I don't know what America's like. I don't know if you would. Or would it be pixeled out? I don't know. You'd think so, wouldn't you? But they do that a lot in horror films, don't they? Showing things on the news that you think, they'd never show that on the news. But anyway, she's decided for some reason she's going to go to school, is Nancy. strange kid, gets the opportunity to stay off school, but no, she wants to go. She says she'll go crazy if she stays cooped up in her room, but she's going right home after. So off she goes to school, and now she sees somebody. Is it him? Oh no, it isn't. I was going to say, is it Robert Englund? But no, it isn't. It isn't Robert. I don't know who it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a policeman. I don't know. An FBI agent. God knows. When I first saw it, because you don't see him for very long, I thought it was Robert Englund, but I don't think it is it? It looks different. It doesn't look like Robert Englund to me. I thought, is it a manifestation of Fred Krueger in the real world? But I don't think it is. Anyway, she's looking at him, but then when she looks back, he's gone. But Rod pops out of a bush and grabs her and explains to her what happened. They're saying they're going to kill me for sure because the cops are looking for him. And then she asks him, "Did you do it?" He says, "No, of course I didn't." And he tries to explain that it were an invisible person that did it, and cuts were just appearing all at once. And she says, "What do you mean all at once?" And he says, like four cuts appearing at the same time. So that matches with her dream of his, the man with the finger knives. Anyway, John Saxon appears now. There we go. And he goes running off, and she gets in the way, but he gets arrested anyway. All police cars appear with strangely European sirens. Hang on, I'll go back and we'll listen to the sirens. Those, anyway, when we're watching it, I'm thinking, where the hell are we? Paris? If you know that reference, you know that reference. That's not a very American butch police siren, that, was it? Anyway, so he gets arrested. So they think they've caught their man, and he's saying, "I didn't kill her, Nancy." And Nancy's angry for some reason. "You used me." And he says, "Well, what are you going to school for?" I don't know if he used it. It could just be a coincidence. That he's there again, that man. Oh, so it must be a policeman. Anyway, so they've got their man, and she's going to school. Right. So we're in class now in English literature or something. They're talking about Shakespeare. Here's Lynn Shay, sister of Bob Shay, Robert Shay, the producer. We've seen her in loads of stuff, but most recently she's more famous for the Insidious films, isn't she? But she's been in a million things. Everybody likes Lynn Shay. So they're talking about Hamlet and all that stuff. And this young fella's going to start reading from Julius Caesar. He starts reading from that. And obviously Nancy nods off at her desk. And she hears somebody saying her name, Nancy. And it terrifies me. This don't terrify me, but it's the creepiest thing in the film, I think. Tina in a body bag, pawing at the body bag from inside. Proper scary. I think it is, anyway. And then she looks round, and we see there we go. He's saying other things, like whispering, "Were it not that I have bad dreams," like that. Of course, it's spooky. Anyway, she gets up from her desk and she goes outside. There's a blood trail on the floor, and there you go. Hang on, have I missed a bit? She hears a voice call out again, Nancy, and hang on, back again. There we go. Again, another. I think it's terrifying. Poor Tina in her body bag being dragged away by an invisible hand, and much like in the news thing we saw earlier, her arm flops out, well, like that. Like that. So something's dragged her away. So she goes jogging down the corridor and bumps into the hall monitor, who just happens to be, the hall guard, who just happens to be wearing a Freddy Krueger coloured jumper, jersey, whatever. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 is my favourite out of the Nightmare on Elm Street films. I mentioned earlier on, I say I like 3 as well. I think this one is my favourite, but I do like 3 as well. think 3 is my second favourite. It's pretty close between them. Written by Chuck Russell and Frank Darabont, wasn't it, the third one? There you go. Anyway, where's your hall pass, she says. And screw your pass, Nancy says. There you go. And then there's the, hey, Nancy. Because we get to Freddy's voice now. No running in the hallway. There we go. Cool. So she goes jogging off again. And then she goes down into the bowels of the school. Into the boiler room. Justin 34 says, this was the best Nightmare, but also thought part 2 is an underrated classic also. I think I've only seen the second one once, or maybe twice at most. I liked all of them. I think they're all good in their own way. But I won't call it, it might be, I don't think it was a classic in my opinion, but I know a lot of people do like it. It's the gay one, isn't it? That's what people say about the second one. Anyway. Right, she's heading down into the boiler room. Here we are, there it is. Back to, I forgot the name of it already, the jail. What were it now? Lincoln Heights Jail, back in there again. Okay, another view of Freddy watching. Anyway, so she's, she says, who are you? And for some reason he just cuts open his, there we go, his chest to reveal maggots and goo for some reason, because it's a nightmare. 3 and 4 are the fan favourites, but I enjoyed them also. I think Freddy's Dead is probably the worst one, isn't it? I think. Is that the 3D one? Can't remember. Here he comes with his glove, and she's in a what they call it, a dead end. Much like Tina, when Tina were in the dead end with the furnace, she's just in a dead end. But there's a hot pipe there next to her. And he's gonna, he wants to kill her. He goes, gonna get ya. And she goes, oh no. And she there we go. Oh, he flicks his tongue. That was an ad-lib by Robert Englund. But she thrusts her arm on the pipe, burning her arm and waking her up. There we go, in class, screaming and performing, women, girls, whatever. Terrifying the teacher, poor Lynn Shea, and all the class just looking as they do. He says, I'll go home, you'll need a hall pass. What is it with the American schools and bloody hall passes? Never had them when I was at school. If you were out of class, you were out of class. Anyway, so she goes outside. Then we notice there, look, she's got a red mark on her arm there. She has a bit of a sob, and then she notices the red mark on her arm. So she wants to go and see Rod in prison. She's talking to Rod. And is this where this might be where he's telling her about the cuts happening at once? But anyway, there you go. Yeah, it is. All at once. This is the bit where he's telling her. As if there were 4 rays, and that's when she realises it's Freddy Krueger, but she doesn't know that yet. Anyway, so he's saying, you think I did it, but I don't think she doesn't. But he thinks everybody thinks he's guilty. Right, so she's back home having a bath. This is another famous scene in this film. She's saying the little nursery rhyme to herself. And then Freddy Krueger says she nods off in the bath. Never fall asleep in the bath. I've done it once, but I was very drunk. Fully clothed, I think. With water in as well. Only that once. Anyway, as you go, Freddy's hand appears out of the water. Don't know what's he doing down there. But then Mother knocks on the door and wakes her up. So Freddy withdraws his hand instantly. And then Mother says, I've got you some warm milk. She says, gross. And then she nods off again and gets pulled under the water. Ah! And then we cut to the stunt double. when she gets pulled under the water. I think this was just filmed in a pool. Pardon me, they're just covered over except for like a bath-shaped hole that shone a light through. So she's screaming and performing and gurgling and spluttering, and Mother comes back. She calls her Mother. Mother! How very 19th century of her. Mother! Maybe it's an American thing, I don't know. I'll be saying ma'am, but anyway. But she gets out, and Mother comes in. Ronnie Blakely gets in with it. She uses a coat hanger, I think, to jiggle the lock on the door. And gets in. There we go. He says, I just fell in the tub. But anyway. There you go. She's at it again. Look, hang on. There we go. I'm okay, Mother. Anyway. But then she goes in the medicine cabinet and finds some... hang on. There we go. Stay awake fast. Where's my button? There we go. Stay awake. Fast action. But stay without a Y on it for some reason. Don't know. Stat awake. Fast acting or action. I don't know. Anyway, so she's going to take them because she doesn't want to fall asleep now after that palaver. So that's Nancy's room. She's watching The Evil Dead on TV and nodding off, even though she's taking stay awake, fast acting. Obviously not working that well, is it? And watching Evil Dead. And reading a book. And then she hears a noise, and she goes out to see, and we see that there's Glenn there climbing up the trellis, what do they call it? Whatever that is. So that's it, he comes in. And she says she wants him to do her a favour. She's talking about how she burned her arm in English class. She doesn't tell him, I burned it in a dream and it's manifested in real life. But she says, I want you to do a favour. I want you to stay awake and watch me while I sleep. And if, if anything happens, if I look like I'm having a nightmare, wake me up. But it buggers that up, as we'll see. So that's what she's going to ask him to do. So he's going to turn out the light and she's going to start dreaming. Right, so... Obviously, she's dreaming now. This isn't real. She's outside the Freddy Krueger house. This has become the Freddy. So, did they move into his house? Because I don't know. But there she is walking. This bit actually kind of reminds me of. Speaking of Insidious, kind of reminds me of Insidious when they go into the further with all the fog and mist and stuff. Kind of reminds me of that. So maybe that inspired James Wan. Anyway, so off she goes. Oh, she's saying to Glenn, are you still watching, Glenn? But obviously, this is her dream, so he could be doing anything. But in her dream, he's appearing. He appears from behind that tree there, look. And obviously, that's not the real Glenn, that's Dream Glenn. So... she's having a wander round, and she goes to the jail, the police station, should I say, which is actually filmed in a library, I think. I'll just have to check. Sure it says library. Where is it? I've seen it somewhere. Police station. Yes, the Los Angeles Public Library, Cahuenga branch, on Santa Monica Boulevard. That's the police station. Right. So she's going there. There we go, 5th precinct. And she just happens to know that his cell is through this window. She must have plans or something. Because she sees him asleep in his cell. But then the door opens. Remember, this is a dream. This is not real life. Not Memorex. Or it is Memorex. Whatever. She sees Freddy walking. With a pretty good effect here, where he walks through the bars here. This is long before Terminator 2. It's not a bad, however they did it. There we go. Where he just goes through, and it's not, a pretty good effect, I think. I think it would, for 1984 and a low budget, I think they did pretty well there. Oh, it's another bit that always creeps me out, where he picks up Rod's sheet, blanket, whatever you want to call it, and as he does it, she's calling down, "Rod, wake up, look out!" And as he's looking up at her, and I'm thinking, this is probably the man that Wes Craven saw as a kid from his bedroom window. This is inspired. This is that what happened when he looked up at him. I bet that's as close as Wes Craven could get to it. I bet. But anyway, so she's banging, but he wakes up. There you go. Looks around. Freddy's gone. So and then she is Nancy. And it's Tina. And there's Tina with blood coming out of her eye and whatever that is, a centipede or an earwig or something coming out of her mouth. I'm guessing that must be a prosthetic nose and mouth. It looks good though, doesn't it? It looks good. And then she's turning into snakes and goo and all that stuff. Poor Tina. Anyway, she's saying to Glenn, "Where are you?" But then me and Freddy say, "I'm here." And he jumps out from behind this, behind this bush. So she's running home. She runs inside. And she's running up the stairs. And the stairs are going to show it. Oh, for God's sake. There we go. The stairs are turned into like porridge or glue or something like that. Like happens in your dreams. And she looks round, and Freddy puts his hand through the window, and then that's supposed to be Tina. Tina's face going, "Nancy," but it's not. It's Freddy. He pulls it off, and it doesn't look much like Tina's face, does it? Kind of reminds me of that dog from the 1978 Invasion of the Body Snatchers that had the man's face. It didn't look very much like one, did it? But anyway, it was cool. There we go. Just pulls it off. There we go. Because he's a bad un. Anyway, she goes running into her bedroom and she's saying, we see Glenn's asleep. But we're still in her dream, aren't we? We're still in her dream. How does she know Glenn's asleep? Don't know. Saying he isn't real, but then he comes through the glass. Like that. And they're rolling about. And she's fighting him. And she picks up a pillow. See Glenn's snoozing away. She picks up a pillow. There we go. And he slashes it. So all feathers are going all over. I haven't got any feather pillows. All my pillows are filled with, I don't know, some carcinogenic fluffy stuff. So all the feathers were there we go, knocking about. And an alarm goes off. So obviously she'd set an alarm, obviously, in case Glenn were an idiot, which he was. And the alarm goes off and wakes her up. There we go. And obviously it wakes Glenn up as well. So she's not happy. She calls him a B word. There we go. And, all I asked you to do was stay awake. And if I were having a nightmare, wake me up. But you couldn't even do that. You fell asleep, you useless bugger. Anyway, then her mother comes to the door, knocking on the door. So Glenn jumps out the window. Say, "You all right?" There she is, looking a bit worse for wear, but I don't know, oddly hot. I don't know, but anyway. Looking a bit worse for wear. She's obviously been boozing again. But she's a loving mother. She loves her daughter, but anyway. So she says, "If you need me, call me." So she's going back to her bottle. Then she's saying, "Glenn, are you there?" And then all we see then is a single feather float out the window. So is that a clue that Freddy is starting to project into our world? Or maybe it's her. Is it her powers is that a clue? With her arm and that feather, and what's going to happen shortly? I don't know. But anyway, so Nancy and Glenn rush over to the police station in real life this time, not in the dream. And they say they want to see Rod in the middle of the night. They want to see Rod. Then it's urgent. But as we see, Rod's sheets have other plans for him. There we go. They start going around his neck in, a decent effect. Probably it's quite simple, but effective. And there's Nancy's father. What's his name? Has he got a name? It just says Lieutenant Thompson. Has he got a first name? Bear with me. Don. Yes. Oh, yes. I remember a mother calling him Donald. Yes, Don. Donald Thompson. He's there because he's never off duty. He's one of those, he's got murders to solve, etc. I've always wondered, has John Saxon got a comb over, or is it just, that style of hair, with the parting at the side? Or has he got is he bald? That's what I'm trying to say. And it's a comb over. I don't know. Oh, excuse me. Anyway, so where were we? So she wants him to go and check on Rod because she's worried about him after her dream. So I said, fair enough, let's go check on him. But meanwhile, they don't know he's being throttled by his own bed sheets. And we can hear Freddy, giggling and, and all that while this is happening. So they go check him. Says, okay, give me the keys. But they say he's being throttled. Look, we will be in a minute. There we go. So anyway, the sheets drag him up off the floor and throttle him, and there he is, going pale already. Doesn't take much, does it? So that's the end of Rod. They haven't saved him. And then they have a funeral really quickly. I presume this is Rod's funeral. Did they have a funeral for Tina? I have no idea. Or is this Tina's funeral? I don't know. No, this is Rod's funeral because the pastor's saying about Rod. Have they buried Tina? I don't know, but did she have a funeral? God knows. Anyway, but Rod's having a funeral. They're all there, look. There you go. He who lives by the sword shall die by the sword. So this is Rod's funeral. So anyway, right. So afterwards, Donald says, take her home and, look after her, etc. And Nancy said to her, the killer's still on the loose, because Rod didn't do it. And Marge, who is her mother, Marge. This is where she's describing who the killer is. He's burned, he wears a weird hat, he's got a dirty red and green sweater, and he's got knives for fingers, and they obviously all know. Is he bald under there? I want to know. Anyway, so I said, get her home. Don't let her out until she gets over the shock of this. And she says, really bad acting again. I'm gonna get her help. She says. There you go. So off they drive. I imagine she's kind of half cut as well. I imagine she's permanently a bit drunk. So she's technically drinking and driving. She goes weaving away through the through the cemetery. By the way, which is this cemetery? Let's have a look. Cemetery. It's Evergreen Cemetery on North Evergreen Avenue, Los Angeles. That's where this is. And where we're going next, the Capture Sleep Institute is on Mulholland Drive, 15600 Mulholland Drive, which is a David Lynch film, isn't it? So here we go. Right, so she must have just gone there and said, test my daughter. She's having dreams and nightmares, etc. And they thought, okay. Or maybe she just threw a load of money at, maybe the rich, I don't know. Maybe she just threw lots of money at them. Because I think it's like in, is it Lethal Weapon 3, where Roger and his wife, Roger Murtaugh and his wife, they've got lots of money because his wife is a best-selling author. I reckon Marge is something like that. Or she's a singer and she's super rich. Anyway, so this is where we meet Roger Rabbit in a minute. He's the doctor here. There he is. There's Roger Rabbit. Charles Fleischer is playing, can't remember his name, Dr. King. There we go. Named after Stephen King, probably. So they're going to, check, it's a dream clinic. So they're going to, check her dreams. Curiously enough, I I think it was the same year, was it? Or the year after. Another film about dreams. It had a more sci-fi than horror aspect, but it did have horrific moments, called Dreamscape, starring Dennis Quaid, which is really, really, really good, and Christopher Plummer. I haven't seen that for years, and I've just remembered about it now, thinking about dreams and people having electrodes put on them and stuff. Anyway, I'll have to watch that at some point. Again, I haven't seen it for years. Anyway, so the monitoring her while she's dreaming. So they're saying, right, she's gone to sleep now, and we're looking at all these numbers here, and he says, not threes are when she's just dreaming normally, sixes and sevens if she's having a nightmare, etc. So he's checking all that, and she just lights a cigarette up because it's the 80s, the early 80s, and you could just smoke anywhere, couldn't you? You know, hospitals, clinics, dentists, probably movie theatres, everywhere. You could smoke everywhere because smoking was good for you back then. Anyway, then she starts having a nightmare. Right, a nightmare starts, and we don't see what happens in this one, but it all starts kicking off. There we go. It's in threes, so it's normal dreaming, a nightmare plus or minus 5 or 6. That's what we're looking at there. Suddenly they start going to like 20, as we see in a minute. There we go. She starts freaking out. Hang on, let's have a look. Is it going to show us on the screen? There we go. 20s and stuff. Look, never gets this high. She's having a proper nightmare. Oh, crikey, getting comfy. So she's screaming and shouting. So they go in. He's getting some sort of drug. I don't know what it is. Ready. And Nancy wakes up. And then we see, she's got a gash on her arm. So what happened there? But that's not all she's got. Because we also learn that she pulled Freddy's hat from her dream. He's like, I grabbed it off his head. So he's probably thinking, that's it, I'm done now. I'm going back to whatever I was doing before this. That's what it's going back to doing voice work on cartoons and stuff. That's what he's doing. Right, so meanwhile, back at home. By the way, there's I've not watched it, but there's the Grim Life Collective. I do enjoy watching their YouTube videos. They do a lot of, film location stuff. They've got a video about the locations for this film, but I haven't watched it. I forgot about it. I looked it up, but it was too late for me to watch it. So give them a check. A Grim Life Collective. They do some good videos. Right, so she's on the phone. Is Marge? I think it's Marge. I hope I'm getting that right. Yes, Marge. She's on the phone to Donald, talking about the hat. I don't know where she got it, but anyway, she comes in, she's drinking coffee all the time, and obviously not sleeping. Probably popping those tablets as well, the stat awake. He says, "Where's the hat?" And she's saying, "I threw it away." By the way, she's got some booze there. Can we see it? She's trying to hide it, but not doing a very good job at it. Mother, that's what I'm trying to prove, Mother. Who do you think she is? Norman Bates. He says mother, doesn't he? Maybe she's a psycho, isn't she? That's where she's saying, Rod didn't kill Tina, he didn't hang himself. It was Fred Krueger. She says because she knows his name because his name's in his hat. She finds the hat. It was in a drawer. And there you go. She says, look, it's in his hat, Fred Krueger, because everybody puts their names in the hats, don't they? I've got loads of hats. I haven't got my name in any of them. Anyway. So he says, you know who he is, so tell me, because he's after me now. And she says, he's dead. There you go. And she tells her later on, so we'll get to that. What happened to him? Anyway, so she's... by the way, I forgot to mention, after a nightmare at the clinic, she's now got a white flash streak in her hair. She looks like Rogue. Or... I forgot her name. Jo Beth Williams in Poltergeist. She's got a white streak in hair. So anyway, she's going out. She's right. I'm going out. So she's going out with Glenn. He's gone for some. They've got the takeaway. They're going to eat it on this bridge, which is. Just bear with me. The Linney Canal in Venice, Los Angeles. So there we go. That's where that is. With some ducks. And he starts talking about the Balinese and the do dream things. And basically, what they call it? I forgot what they call it. When you know you're in a dream and you can control it. There you go. They call it dream skills or something. There you go. And you just acknowledge that you're in a dream, and it takes away all the nightmares energy, and then you're safe. Basically, there you go. I'm going to make up my mind that I'm going to fall into fluffy pillows or whatever if you're falling. There you go. Right. What if they meet a monster in their dreams? There we go. Oh, you turn your back on it and it takes away its energy and it disappears, which is what happens at the end of the film. This way, we also learn she's got a book, improvised booby traps and improvised anti-personnel devices. So not only did this film inspire Insidious and Edward Scissorhands, it also inspired Home Alone. So there you go. Right, she's going home now. Oh, and also Wayne and Garth are there. That's it, lucid dreams. Thank you, lucid dreams, yes. That's what I was thinking of. Anyway, Wayne and Garth are there. Party on, Wayne. Right, she's going home. We see that they've installed bars on the windows and door as well, for some reason. And taking the rose trestle, whatever the bloody hell it's got, trellis, whatever. They've taken that down. Look, so no more nocturnal visits from Glenn. So she goes in and says, "What's with all the bars, mother?" There you go. Security. Anyway, she says, "Come down into the basement and I'll tell you everything." So we'll go down into their kind of grotty basement that's got a massive furnace for some reason. Anyway, it's the only dreams I have. Lucid dreams. Cool. You've mentioned that before, haven't you? You've mentioned that before, Josh. I haven't. My dreams are mental. Sometimes. When I remember them. Anywho, can't control my dreams at all. Right, so she's going to tell her, she's going to spill the beans about Freddy Krueger. That's what she's doing. And it turned out he's a dirty child murderer, they call him. I think originally it was supposed to be, a child molester, but they decided to change it into he just killed kids rather than, fiddled with them. But I think later on in the series, I think they changed that back again, didn't they? I think. But he did everything, he molested them and then killed them. But originally, he was just a child killer. Anyway, we're going around killing some kids, little kids. Fred Krueger. And but the local parents, the police couldn't catch him, but so the local parents caught him and basically set him on fire. Is that what it's going to say? Yes, yeah. He got off on a technicality or whatever. There you go. Somebody forgot the search warrant. He got off. So they went and got him. And they burnt him alive. And for some reason, somehow, she got his glove. She's got it there in her hand. There you go. I took his knives from his crusted, burned hands. But anyway, he said, "Why would you take them?" But I don't know. Is it like to think, is Marge the killer? I know she's not, but Anyway, I don't know. So she's saying, it's okay, you can sleep, he's dead, and all that. But we know he's a supernatural force. Meanwhile, Johnny Depp's got his kind of girly top on. Look, it's the 80s. And he's on the phone to Nancy, asking how she is and all that. And what's with the bars? They look like Prisoner of Zenda. Anyway, I think that's what they're saying. How long you can stay awake. I think the record's 11. I think she's been awake 5 days or something like that. Anyway, so they're trying to stay awake, but struggling. Right, she's going to phone him back again at midnight, make sure he's awake, and he's listening to music, and he's got his TV on, doing everything he can to stay awake. Obviously, it's not going to work. She's still taking the Stat Awake tablets. This is Johnny Depp, Glenn's mother. There you go. He's asleep. Look, he's fallen asleep. So obviously, Freddy's not bothering him, is he? Yet. Anyway. She goes and wakes him up, and he's getting ready to watch Miss Nude America. And she says, well, how can you hear what she says if you're listening to music? He says, who cares what she says? There you go. So she calls him a smart ass, tells him to go to bed. So, anyway. Marge is, I think she's giving her some hot milk or whatever. She says, off you go to sleep. So... But she's not gonna. She's got a bloody coffee percolator in her cupboard, in her nightstand. Wouldn't her mother smell it? Well, she smokes, don't she? And people who smoke have terrible senses of smell sometimes. She obviously couldn't smell the coffee. So she has a good glug of coffee. Oh, and then we get a bit of back nudity. Puts a shirt on, and then... she's looking over at Glenn's. This is where Glenn's dad, who's another terrible actor. There's some terrible actors in this film. God, no, I don't know who he is. Kind of looks like Gil Gerard, who played Buck Rogers, but not really. He thinks that Nancy's a psycho. I think that kid's a psycho. That's why they put the bars up. And she's saying, no, Marge has just been, careful what with Nancy's having her problems and all that. And he says, well, I don't want her being around our son anymore. Rawr. There you go. Don't want that kid hanging around with our son anymore. Anyway, meanwhile, back in Nancy's room, she's got a photograph of Tina, bless her. It's 10 to 12. She's checking out the room. I think her mother were there. Yes, her mother's there. She's got some booze stashed in the airing cupboard. So she's going to quaff that down. I don't even know what is it, vodka or something? I have no idea. No idea. But she glugs it down. All right, then she phones up Glenn. She's phoning Glenn. And then that's Nancy saying that, not them. She's saying, Glenn, answer the phone. But Glenn's mother answers the phone and she says, I want to talk to Glenn. It's really important. But Glenn's dad is having none of it. There you go. Got to be firm with these kids. He gets the phone and says, Glenn's asleep. I have to talk to him tomorrow. And puts the phone down. But then takes it off the hook. There you go, like that. And so now she can't get through to Glenn. So, because it's just engaged. But then her phone rings and she answers it. And it's Freddy's voice saying like, you're my girlfriend now, or something like that. So she gets cross and rips the phone out of the wall. And then she's thinking, oh no, what if Glenn tries to phone me? Oh dear. So she throws the phone on the bed. And she looks out, her mother's gone. So she's got making her bid for freedom now. But then the phone rings, even though it's not connected. So is she asleep now? Is Nancy asleep now? I don't know. I'm confused myself. The phone rings and she picks up the phone, and there we go, and she says hello, and says, Nancy, there you go, I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy. And there you go, and we see he's got his mouth and his tongue on the phone. Boz-eyed. So she screams and smashes the phone to smithereens. And all the doors are locked. There you go, locked. Oh, everything's locked, and she ain't got the key. There we go. So she can't get out to go see Glenn. Meanwhile, Glenn's going to get killed now by Freddy. is dreaming. So this is, I don't know. Anyway, the TV's going off the air. It must have missed Miss Nude America. Hang on, then there you go. The clawed hand comes out of his bed and drags him down into it. And she's like, Glenn, no, no. And then all blood comes squirting out. I'm presuming they've used the room, the Tina's room, redressed it obviously and rotated and stuff. All blood comes spraying out, gushing even, not just spraying. This kind of reminds me of Prince of Darkness, which we've done before on this show. And his mother comes in and she's, oh no, screaming. I thought, well, it's just blood though, isn't it? I mean, yeah, it's horrible and gory, but it's not just like body parts, is it? Glenn's just vanished and been replaced by blood. There we go. What is that supposed to be part? I don't know. What's that? Don't know. So she's screaming. Then the police and the ambulance and everybody's arriving, look. And there you go. You'll need a mop. 'Cause that's all that's left of Glenn is just blood. She's watching. And she's phoned her dad, and he tells her that it looks like Glenn's dead. And now she's going to say, Daddy, I've got a proposition for you. I'm going to find the man that killed everybody. I'm going to find Freddy, and I'm going to pull him out of the dream, whatever. But you've got to be there to catch him when I pull him out or whatever. There you go. She's going to go and get him and bring him out. So that's what she's going to do. She's going to go to sleep. I thought she was asleep already. I don't know. I get confused with what's real and what's a dream in real life. Anyway, so he's going to go check upstairs. Now she's doing her Home Alone stuff, remembering a book that she read. And what's Wingray saying? Oh dear, for... Don't know. She's doing her Home Alone stuff. There you go. She's making things. She's been very industrious. There we are, look. Tripwires and all sorts. Putting light bulbs with gunpowder in. I don't know, whatever. And then putting up a big, massive mallet which had killed somebody. Much like in You're Next, another film which we've done here. So it also inspired You're Next, because they did that with a big sledgehammer, didn't they? Anyway, so she's set all that up. Saying, where's the coroner or whatever, medical examiner? He's in the John puking since he saw it. It's only blood, though. As I said, there's no, like, body parts and brains. It's just blood, isn't it? But anyway. Right, so she's talking to her mother. She's tucking her mother up in bed now. There you go. I think her mother gives her a clue here, then, just walk away or something like that. Have I missed it? I think I've missed it. Never mind. Her mother says something like, just sometimes you've just got to turn away from it. So, which is what she does. So, her mother is wise, as well as drunk. Right, so she's getting ready to go to sleep. So off she goes. Before saying the prayer. She's setting her alarm on her watch, is she? Which has a voice, 10 minutes and counting, because all watches in 1984 had voices. Oh dear. Right. So she's asleep now. She's in a dream, definitely, I think. Goes down into the basement, which I think turns into a big, massive boiler room. There you go. She's in the house basement, which becomes... She goes through another door and then goes down more steps. So she's in a dream now. Looking for Freddy. And, Freddy is the hunted now. The hunter has become the hunted, so to speak. Sort of. So she's going looking for him. There's Rod's flick knife. And there's Tina's crucifix. So Freddy keeping these trophies, obviously, in the dream world. Right, so, what's this she's found? Don't know. Oh, hang on, what was that? It says Glenn. Oh, so that. Oh, it's his headphones, isn't it? It's Glenn's headphones. That's what it is. All covered in blood. So she's like, "Oh, you've taken all my friends away from me." There we go. She's calling him out, and he goes leaping. Oh, just as he's about to get a look, follow me. She leaps and lands in the boxes. She thinks he's Jeff Hardy doing a swanton bomb. A watch is still talking to her. Final 10 seconds. Because, alarms do that, don't they? So here he comes. No hat, remember, because she stole it. So here he comes, grabs her. But she's kind of grabbing him as well as he's grabbing her. They're grabbing each other because she wants him. She's going to wake up now. I think her alarm's going off and she's awake now. But he's not there. But he will be in a minute because he's going to pop out from behind the bed. And she said, "Oh, it didn't work." But he's going to appear in a minute. I think, has he appeared already? Is he here? There we go. I'm crazy after all, but no, because he's there. Look, oh, God's sake, there he is. Ha ha! Jump scare. So now he's going to do all the booby traps now. So he's going to come out the door, get hit by the sledgehammer. In a minute. I've got him, Daddy. He's in here. I've got him trapped. So she smashes that. Calling Daddy. There we go. Oh, God, that break. I know he's a monster, so fair enough, but, a real person would be killed by that, wouldn't they? By a real mallet. And then he falls over. What's happened this time? Then he just falls. Falls over the banister, whatever the hell it's called. Down through the steps. There he is. Because he's a comedy person now. So he's still trying to get it. Then there's tripwire, look. Everything's blowing up now, look. Ah! Then he'd be like saying, "There's all the explosions going on over there. Go and get John Saxon, quick. Go and get Sador of the Malmori." Anyway, they ended up down in the basement. And they don't just have the painting of the dogs playing pool. She's got a bloody blanket with it on. For some reason. Oh, dear. Anyway, so he's looking. Oh, she sets him on fire. That's it. I forgot about this. She sets him on fire again. Turns into a man in a Freddy suit on fire. I still think the best one were in From Dusk Till Dawn. I think that was the best fire gag. Because they generally just stumble about, don't they? Because that's really all you can do when you're on fire, just stumble about. But the fella in From Dusk Till Dawn were actually shooting guns and all sorts, weren't they? But anyway, here he goes up the stairs, chasing after a while he's on fire. There he goes, still on fire, look. Falls down the stairs. Whee! I'll just make sure we're still going. Just make sure. Yeah, we are. Right. Yeah, we are. Right. Right, so she's got him trapped in the basement on fire. I presume he'll go out soon. Just roll around, man. Roll around. There you go. I've got him, Daddy. Come on. There he is, coming now. Look. Right, so they go down, and he's not there, not in the basement, but he's left flaming footprints. And I like this bit. But this deliberate, I don't know. Is it just like a weird current of air that makes this do that? Little like fire tornado. Cool, wasn't it? Because that wasn't an effect. That was something that really happened, wasn't it? You can tell. Cool. Anyway, she goes running upstairs, being careful not to burn her feet, obviously. There you go. He's after Mother, but he's got her. He's got Mother. It's still on fire. That fire gag at one time was the longest burn time record at one time. Did it? Cool. I tell you, we're going on a while, wasn't it? Down in the basement. Anyway, I think she smashes a chair over him, and I think Dad throws a blanket. There goes, puts a blanket over, and then pulls it back. And obviously, Freddy's not there anymore. Just Marge's burned corpse, which for some weird reason descends into a glowing mist. For some reason, don't know why. It just does. As they watch. She puts her hand up as well. I'm going into the glowing mist. Of what? Of doom? I don't know. Or is it into Freddy's domain? It must be because Freddy comes out of here in a minute. So like, oh no, my mother's gone. Bring back my mother, etc. And I think he thinks it's over. I think Freddy's gone, but she doesn't think that. And she's standing there because he's coming out of the bed now. Another good effect. Obviously, it's just another rubber sheet, isn't it? But it still looks good. I think it does anyway. And he comes out with his knives. She says, there you go. I know you're there, Freddy. So I lied again, didn't I? I said, never refer to him as Freddy. Just Fred. Don't listen to me. I always like the commentary option. You always learn a lot of interesting stuff. Oddly enough, I always watch the films before I do these. I always watch them with the commentary, but I didn't do with this one because I didn't have time. So I've got it on. Got it on Blu-ray there, and it's got 2 commentaries. I didn't get to listen to either of them. Hey dear, because I didn't get a chance. Anyway, this is now where it kind of gets a bit, anticlimactic a bit, but she's just saying, he's just saying, now you die, and she says, I'm taking away all the energy I gave you. I want my mother and my friends back. And he goes, what? And give him, there you go. And I'm taking away all the energy I've given you because you're nothing, you're nothing, and I'm a girl boss. And he just, and it goes together and just turns into sparkly sparkles for some reason. And disappears. And that's the end, they think. That's the end of Freddy Krueger. Then we cut to next morning. It's supposed to be next morning, I think. Or is it? It's so bright. And she's all chipper and chirpy now, is Marge. She's back from the dead. But apparently it's foggy. Remember, it was foggy in the dream world, wasn't it? Because I said it reminded me of Insidious in the further. But anyway, so she says, I'm going to stop drinking now. So there, because it's that easy. Then Glenn and Tina and Rod appear in the car. There they are. So she hops in the car and says, what about this fog, eh? Yeah, and but they get in the car, but the roof opens up, and you see it's in Freddy's jumper's colours, and they're trapped in the car, and he says, I'm not doing this, and they're all screaming, and she's paying no attention. She's like, ah. So they drive off, driving away, and we see the kids doing the skipping, doing the 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you, and then she gets got by Freddy and turns into a rubber effigy. There we go. And gets pulled through the door. So whose dream is this? I don't know. Because it's obviously must be somebody's dream, I'm guessing. But whose? Is it Marge's? Did they all come back? I don't know. I mean, we see Nancy again, don't we? In number 3, Dream Warriors. But does it mention? I don't know. Does it mention? Should we see John Saxon as well? I can't remember what happens with Marge. Did Marge never come back? I don't know. I've forgotten. It's been that long since I've seen it. I'm going to have to watch it. Anyway, and there we go. That's the end. There we go. They're singing that song, and then it goes to the credits. There we go. An amazing film. I love Nightmare on Elm Street. I like all the others as well. In their own way, they're of varying quality. I like Freddy versus Jason as well. That's a lot of fun. But anyway, this is a great film, a classic, Probably, I don't know. Yeah, probably Wes Craven's best film. Some people might say Scream, but I think this is Wes Craven's best film, in my opinion. His most accessible film, I think it is. Probably his most successful. I don't know. It'll be close with Scream, as I imagine. But anyway. But anywho, right. Anyway, there we go. So there we go. That's the end of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Great film. Great film. Not sure about the ending. As I say, I'm all confused about it. And I'm going to have to watch 3 again to find out, what's happened with... I know Nancy's gone on to become a psychologist, hasn't she? And the dad is in it. Is he still a policeman in it? I can't remember. Justin says, I think it was the mother's dream. She and the friends all died, but Nancy and the dad lived to number 3. Yeah, is that what happened? I can't remember. It's that long since I've seen the 3rd one. I say, luckily, I've got the box set so I can watch them. I can watch them. Which I will, eventually. I'm terrible at watching stuff. Anywho, so there we go. That's the end of Nightmare on Elm Street. Great film, as I said. Went on a pretty much a shoestring budget, $1 million. It's not a lot, even back in 1984. But it did well, and I think they did good with some of the effects. Weren't they planning a show from this at one point? They did Freddy's Night. Was it called Freddy's Nightmares? Which I've never seen, but on the bonus disc on this, there's 2 episodes of it, which I never got round to watching. But yeah, they did Freddy's Nightmares, which were like an anthology series, wasn't it, I think? I've never seen it, but there's 2 episodes on this, on the bonus disc on there. So maybe I'll get round to watching them as well one day, maybe. Anyway, right, so we're done. We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there for this week. So, what's coming up? Got me discs here. Next, what day are we on? Friday. Sunday, I'll be doing sketch time, I suppose. Pardon me. Then on Monday, for Magnificent Mondays, hang on. Justin says, Scream was very good and it was up there, but this was his masterpiece. Yeah, pretty much. I like Scream as well, but I think this is better than Scream. Scream's like Scooby-Doo to me. It is, but anyway. On Monday, for Magnificent Mondays, we're doing Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger, but without Rocky. So that's a cool film. I think the first Sinbad film I think I saw at the cinema. Ray Harryhausen's penultimate movie. And then next Friday night's appointment with Fear is Pearl, starring Mia Goth, directed by Ty West. An amazing film, miles better than the film it's a prequel to, X, which I wasn't a huge fan of. And I like Ty West films, but this is miles better. Really good film is that. So that's next week's Friday night appointment with Fear. So we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there for now. Excited for Maxine? Yes, I am. Just looking forward to that. Hopefully it'll be as good as Pearl, I hope. But this is a sequel to X, isn't it? Following Maxine, obviously. Anyway, right. So, thanks, Win Grace and Justin 34 and Josh Temple. And Ricky, I can't make out what your name is. I don't know what letters they are because you've got a weird font. Ricky Thingy, and Dretch Tiger, and Regis Matthias for joining in the chat. So we'll leave it there. So thanks for watching. Don't have nightmares. Hang on, got to get this. Oh, hang on. Justin says, Pearl is excellent, but I also liked X, but Pearl is better. Yes, I agree. I wasn't a huge fan of X, to be honest. I did hate it, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. But Pearl, really liked that. I think she should have got an Academy Award for her performance in that. She did get other awards, but I think she should have got an Oscar. That's just me. Remember, don't fall asleep. I fall asleep, but I'm getting to that age now I can just sit in the chair and just... I'm that old. I've lived my life. Right. Hang on. Oh, it's Nikki. All right. I Googled and it told me Nikki HC. All right. So it's Nikki, not Ricky. Tell you. These peculiar, like a Wolfenstein font. Nikki HC. Thank you anyway, Nikki, for joining in. Thank you, Windgrace, for Googling things and being the font of all knowledge. Right. So, again, we'll leave it there. So, thanks for watching. Don't have nightmares. And until next time, I'll say the...